What's up guys, in today's video I'll be covering how to play Gibraltar in Season 9 of Apex Legends. I'll be going over some tips from that very few people talk about when playing Gibby, so stay tuned throughout the video for those as well. This guide's going to apply to all the skill levels of players, so if you're brand new to Gibby, or if you're trying to rank up because your team needs a Gibby, or if you've been playing him for a bit but feeling like you're missing out on some things, this video is going to help all of you. If you're new to the channel, I post a ton of educational Apex content and I have over 4,000 hours in this game. Enough about me though, let's get into this guide. The way I'm going to do this guide is go over each one of his abilities, and at the end of each summary, move into practical tips and tricks on how and when to use each ability. So let's get into it. First things first, Gibby's passive, the Gunshield. Gibraltar's Gunshield takes up to 50 damage, but there is now bleed through damage on it. So what that means is if someone deals over 50 damage at once to you, the leftover damage will affect your armor and or health. If that 50 damage threshold is met, the Gunshield will have a brief 8-second cooldown until it can be activated again. You are able to toggle this arm shield on and off with down on the D-pad if you play on controller, and whatever key you have it bound to if you play on mouse and keyboard. But I can't really think of any scenario where deactivating the Gunshield is something you should do. The Gunshield is one of the most OP passives in the game. I mean, it's a huge factor when it comes down to winning fights. Absorbing that extra 50 damage is a huge reason why Gibby is so popular in the higher elos of play. The Gunshield is only available if you ADS or aim down sight, and for that reason, when you play Gibby, you should always be trying to ADS. The only time I'm not going to ADS with Gibby is if my Gunshield gets broken and I know it's on cooldown and the situation makes sense for me to hip fire. This will be an occasional situation, but it's just something you guys should know. Now, Gibby's Gunshield can also be used to tank a lot of damage. If a grenade is close to you and you aim your Gunshield at it, it will absorb up to that 50 damage. If you try to stick a Gibby with an arc star and his Gunshield's out, it will deflect off of the Gunshield and not stick on Gibby. If you're very low on health or armor, but you know you have to fight, ADS that Gunshield to add that extra shield to you. It can be a huge benefactor in winning fights. Gibby is also fortified just like Caustic, which means they take 15% less damage and they are not slowed by bullets. They have this in exchange for having a huge hitbox, but Gibby has the largest hitbox in the game. Let's shift to Gibby's tactical, the bubble. This bubble is one of the best abilities in the game, and it's a main reason why Gibby is almost mandatory in high-level ranked and competitive Apex. The bubble is going to last for 12 seconds once it's been deployed, and it will be on a 30-second cooldown. So please keep these figures in mind when going about using this tactical. And listen, there's a lot to cover when it comes to Gibby's tactical. So let's start off with what it's meant for and then talk about when to use it. If you already know the basics though, don't worry, I'm about to cover some advanced tips for using this as well. Gibby's bubble can be used for a lot of things, and some of the most common are going to be bubble fights. This is where you use it to close a gap between your opponent and you, and then you essentially force them to come into or out of the bubble. It's also helpful so that lingering enemy teammates can't get shots at you while you're in the bubble, and so third parties can't get involved from a distance. It can be used to create cover for you and your teammates when there is none around, and this is especially handy for making micro rotations. This is probably the main reason why you see Gibby in competitive Apex. The other thing Gibby's bubble can be used for is reviving your teammate. I'll cover this more in a second though. The best guns to use when taking a bubble fight are definitely going to be shotguns, and that's because they're single fire weapons and obviously do the most damage up close. Most of your bubble fights are going to be really up close encounters, and so having a shotgun is critical while you strafe in and out of the bubble. Using spray weapons for bubble fights is just not ideal, and it's extremely difficult, especially if your opponent is skilled and they have a shotgun. The key to the bubble fight is going to be strafing in and out of it, so you're always using the bubble as cover in between your shots, and if you time the strafing right, you'll be a really difficult target to hit, and then just hopefully you can hit your shots when your opponent is trying to do the same thing to you. As far as the revive goes with the bubble, Gibby has a special revive animation, and it's a bit quicker than the normal revive animation. If your teammate gets knocked and isn't too safe for a res, you should learn to bubble them and try to hit that revive. Because his animation changes your field of view and perspective though, I try to face my back towards where I think my enemy might come. And that is because I can see them the best if they're pushing. It's kind of an awkward angle though, so if you think someone is close enough to push the bubble, obviously don't commit on the revive. You could probably just bait it and then just play the bubble for cover, try to knock that enemy if they're pushing. And to be honest guys, I could probably do an entire video on just Gibby's bubble because it's so dynamic and there's so many situations to go over when it comes to mastering the bubble. But one of the most important things you should understand is that in these higher elos of play, if you see some Gibraltar team bubble up onto you, like be prepared to take that fight. That is a clear sign, hey, we're bubbling on you, we want to fight, it's about to go down. Now if you're smart and the situation calls for it, you can wait the bubble out so that that team doesn't feel like they have such a huge advantage on you. And also, if your teammates aren't close and 2 or 3 people bubble up on you, you better get clear of that because they are going to dominate you. They will be able to do damage to you and then back up quickly and be behind cover. And it's just a really overwhelming, oppressive situation that you really can't do much in unless you have strength by numbers. So just keep that in mind, guys. Before I move on to covering Gibby's ultimate and talk about some upcoming potential changes he may receive, you've got to do me one favor and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. If this video hits 1,000 likes, I will... What will I do? I'll probably just keep making videos, to be honest, but let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes. All right, let's move on. Gibby's ultimate, the defensive bombardment. This is an airstrike, but much different from Bangalore's. The Gibby ultimate will cover a pretty big circle, and you can see exactly what the radius is going to be very briefly when you throw the bombardment down. Now, this airstrike is a great damage dealing ability. Each missile in the radius will come down more than once, but all at different times. And each missile that hits an enemy will do up to 40 damage. You can use this as a crowd control technique. In other words, use it to back enemies up off of high ground or to create space for a rotation, or you can use it in your fights. If you're able to catch a whole team in the bombardment, the damage numbers can really stack up. It does have a very lengthy cooldown though, so keep that in mind. It takes 3.5 minutes for it to be ready to use, and that should incentivize you to save it for the right moments. If you're in a ranked match coming down to a sweaty endgame and you're fighting against other Gibby teams, try to make sure to save your bubble for when they try to ult you. Remember, really smart Gibby teams will see you use your bubble on something and then ult you while you're in a vulnerable position. They do this because they know you have no bubble to save you from all that damage. If you've ever watched a tournament or a high-level ranked game, you will definitely see this fairly often, so keep that in mind. So what's Gibby's role on a team? Can he frag out, or is he just a support legend? The answer is, he's both. Gibbies have insane 1v1 potential because of the Gunshield and the bubble, but they also can be a huge line of support for the team with the bubble and the ultimate. Sometimes in competitive Apex, I see the Gibraltar on the team be the one dealing the most damage and stacking up the most kills. But make no mistake about it, Gibby thrives with a team. He's not the best for a solo pub session. Why, you might ask? Well, although he moves at the same speed as other legends, it certainly does not feel that way when you play him. And if you take away Gibby's teammates, there are way better legends to play as you solo queue pubs. And this is why his pick rate is so low in pubs, but in the higher elos of ranked and the competitive scene, it's extremely high. Over the course of a few seasons, they've slightly nerfed Gibby over and over. They took away the faster healing in the bubble. They increased the cooldowns on all of his abilities. They created the bleed through effect on the Gunshield, which was an absolutely long overdue balancing change. However, there has been some news regarding the devs and what they think they should do for Gibby to get his pick rate up for the casual player base, but also not make him so strong that he continues to be a high pick in ranked and in the competitive scene. Now, I'm not sold on there being a best of both worlds situation here, but I want you guys to let me know down in the comments below. Is he balanced or does he need some changes? I think he's pretty balanced right now, but I'm eager to hear from you guys. All right, guys, you know the deal. If this video helped you out in any way or you just simply enjoyed watching it, I need you to hit that subscribe button and turn the bell on. I am so close to 10,000 subscribers, and it would be amazing if you could help me reach that goal of mine. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, I offer Apex coaching lessons on Fiverr. I have over 50 5-star reviews, so click the link below in the description if you want a personalized touch to up your game in Apex. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.